Good morning and welcome back to the Teacher's Wake Up Call. It's been a solid week since I've been at school. I know, and it's one of those mornings where you know that things have been going on without you, and I've got so many notes to read by my substitute teacher. So I have to send her a little thank you. So shout out to Mel, who did an amazing job substituting and taking down so many notes I have to get on some students' cases. I hate doing that. But I'm going to need to talk to them. I also have to take care of some of my leftover Halloween decorations because last week in my head it was way too early to put up Christmas decorations. I am that person who feels that early November is a bit too early for Christmas. It's a bit too early. But last week I left on, I was at school Monday and Tuesday. So on the 12th, the 12th I was flying out. So I was at school on the 11th, and to me, Remembrance Day is that date where I can start putting up Christmas decorations. So I think I might ask some of my students to help me take down some of the ornaments that I have. Not the ornaments, but like the fall-esque, Halloween-esque decorations that I have, which means I can take out my Christmas stuff. I came home from my conference and my daughter had cleaned up the house with the assistance of my husband and put up the Christmas decorations. I did that sort of thing myself when I was still living at home, and it reminded me a lot of what I did. So that was so sweet of her. It was so nice. So now guys, it's back to the grind. And so whenever I know I'm going to be away for some times, I'm not talking about when I'm ill, that's a different story, but when I know I'm going to be away for some time, I always try to plan my week back or the day that I'm going to be back ahead of time. I try. I'm not always successful, but I try. So this week basically is going to be dedicated to correcting the work and the stuff that they did before, or like the week before when I was gone. I gave them reading assignments, and today is my day to go over those assignments and correct them. So that's my plan. Let's see how well I'm going to execute that plan. I'm already changing up the plan that I had with my grade 10s, because apparently I need to talk to them, to some of them. I need to talk to some of them who thought that it would be some time off. Look, this is my approach, all right? This is my approach. I'm taking out a page from my mom's playbook, who used to tell me when I was a kid, you always listen to strangers, but never to your mother. Okay, so I told myself, surround your child, or your children in this case, with strangers you trust. So I trust the substitute, all right? I've worked with her. I know her through Comic-Con as well. She's not a close friend, but she's a friend. I think we're past the whole professional, state here. I've known her for some time, so I know that what she's writing to me is they're not falsehoods, they're not lies, they're not exaggerations. She tells it to me as it is. So I will tell the students, you need to behave with the substitutes better than you would with me. Why? Because I can tolerate the crap that you're getting. And this is how I say it to them. I don't polish I tell them, I can deal with your crap. I'm used to you. I know you. I know how to react to you. A substitute does not know the crap that you normally pull. So I tell them this. I tell them this to the kids. I tell the kids that they need to be better with the substitute than they are with me. And why do I say that? Because I don't want to be blacklisted. I don't want a substitute teacher to look on their phone when they get a job and they go, oh, there's no way I'm subbing for her. I don't want to end up on that make-believe blacklist and be ignored by substitute teachers, because it's happened before. Not specifically to me, but for a group of students. There was a group of students. This was class of 2013, 2012, class of 2012. There was one particular group of students. Anytime a substitute teacher saw that this teacher had this group, they wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take the job because of those students. And it happens. It still happens today. And if in the past, substitutes would talk to each other, they would call each other, they would say, hey, or if a secretary were to call them, it's like, hey, can you come in today? The sub will actually ask, for whom? For whom am I coming in? And if the secretary says, oh, it's for this teacher, the sub will say no. The sub will say no. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen firsthand. My dad was a long-term substitute teacher, and he was excessively picky. He could afford to be excessively picky. This was like a second job. It wasn't his main source of income. At one point it was, but towards the end, before his retirement, COVID, he was excessively picky. He said, I will only sub for these 3 teachers. That's it. And because he had this understanding with the teachers and saying, this is how I operate. If you don't like it, you can find yourself another sub. And the teachers liked his no-nonsense approach. He had 0 issues kicking them out of class. Sending them on an adventure, sending them on a quest. He's like, you are going to go and count all the holes in the tiles. We had perforated tiles, ceiling tiles. You're going to count all of those holes. You're going to come back to me. I need to know. And if you don't bring me back this information, then you're going to the principal's office. And some students, some I'm sure called his bluff, but others would actually take the job seriously, go and count the number of holes in the tile, and come back to him. It would take them like 30 minutes, but for 30 minutes, class was doing their work. So it was unorthodox. It was unorthodox, but it allowed him to manage the class his way without burdening the admin with students who don't need to be in the admin office, but just needed something different to do. And for someone who didn't have really a teaching background, it was not too bad, and students loved him for it. I still have former students who would come to see me. It's like, how's your dad? How's your dad, miss? How's Mr. Mick? How's Mr. And they loved his approach. Some students didn't, but most kids, the majority, loved it. I used to see students run to his classroom when he was doing long-term subbing because they loved his stories, but I digress. Anywho, I'm back after spending 3 days in Banff. Banff was great. I think I did some shorts about it, and I still... Was it the best conference I ever attended? No, but it was really good. It was really good. A lot of the stuff that was said during this conference confirmed a lot of my thoughts and a lot of my approaches, right? And other than maybe one workshop, one presentation that I attended, it's like, so what are we learning from this? That there's a teacher shortage? Okay, I already knew this. Okay. So there was perhaps just one presentation that was a bit meh, to my opinion, but otherwise everything else was great. Everything else was fantastic. Everything else was really solid. Made some new friends. I've got some new friends in BC and in Manitoba, and that's always fun. What did you do at this conference? I made friends. But at the same time, you never know how these friendships can become partnerships, you know, and we're always looking for that. We're always looking for because, you know, learning French is not just exclusive to Anglophones in the province of Quebec. And I had to explain that, okay, to a lot of teachers over there at this conference who thought that, you know, learning French as a second language was only to immigrants. And I'm going, oh, no, there is an English community, there's an Anglophone community in the province, and they have to learn French too. And some of them thought like, oh, they must be strong in French. Like, nope, they're not all strong in French. So it was interesting. So immersion and learning French is a reality that exists across the country, and this could be the topic of another video because I'm already like at 11 minutes. This can, how can I phrase it? We live through similar experiences in our province, and other provinces live it differently, but bottom line, students are learning French as a second language. And if there's a way to pool our resources and team up and create the best experiences possible for our students, I'm all for it. So on that lovely note, folks, have yourselves a lovely Tuesday, because it's a Tuesday. It feels like a Monday to me, but it's a Tuesday. Have yourselves an awesome day.